Hi, and welcome back to M1 Yarns and the Michigan Makers Podcast. My name's Jamie. I'm the yarn dyer behind m1yarns.com. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, thanks for coming back. This is a mostly knitting related podcast, so if that is your thing, stick around. And today I've got some project updates as well as some ideas to get you maybe inspired for spring knits, which I'm recording this, let's see, I think today's February 20th or so. I'm looking at my watch and I'm like, does it have one of those date things? But then I realized I actually can't read it because my eyes are getting kind of bad. Anyway, it's late February. That's the point. And so now really is the time to cast on something that you want to wear as spring starts to, become a reality for us. Right now, that is really hard to think about because it has snowed and snowed and snowed here in Metro Detroit. And I have used my snowblower to no end this winter. So I'm totally ready for spring knits. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And I'm going to talk about some shop updates and some spinning and some other crafty little things. So let's just dive right in. So this is episode number 98, which means I am fast approaching episode 100, which feels like quite the undertaking. Ironically, as I was doing my hair earlier today, I was thinking how I was coming up on the 100th episode, and I realized that I recorded the first episode back in March of 2020, like literally right before lockdown. And we are now approaching the 5-year anniversary of that. So it took me essentially 5 years to do 100 episodes. I am more regular now than I was the first couple years. But it's not about the number, it's about the quality, and I really want to bring content that's interesting. So now I'm rambling, so let's just get on with it. Let's start with what I'm wearing, because probably someone's interested in that. This is the Kaleidoscope Cardi, which is a pattern by Knit Collage. You have to buy one of their knit-alongs, which they offer a few times a year, to get a whole bundle of patterns, I believe. I don't believe that this one is available on Ravelry independently, but let me double check that now that I say that. Yeah, that pattern is part of like their knit-along bundles. So, it says it's on their website. I wonder if you can get it there. I'll have to do some more digging. If I do find that it's available, I will put it on there. We're dealing with a little bit of uncontrolled asthma today, so sorry in advance. Yeah, I don't... Oh, view patterns by sweaters and tops. Anyway, while I'm looking for that, let me tell you about what I knit it with. The fuzzy that you see all over is Angora that I bought from a farm in Colorado near where my mom lives, just outside of Colorado Springs. I cannot remember for the life of me the name of the lady. She has a shop in her garage where she carries all sorts of yarn, but she also had this beautiful Angora. I don't wear this a lot because the Angora does tend to like get on everything. You got to wear the right clothes with it, basically like a silky satiny shirt, which I have on underneath. It's just kind of one of those, like, it leaves its fluff around. And then I'll get up close so you can kind of get a feel for the fabric. I held many strands of many scraps. together to create this like really marled fabric. I hope you can kind of get a vibe for it. And then I striped like the Angora, and then, you know, I would pick up and put down little bits and kind of create like my own mashup of yarn. Anyway, I knit this back in 2021. It only took me 11 days to knit. It was so fun. 10 out of 10. Recommend the pattern generally. Not maybe so much the Angora, but that's, you know, like you take it or you leave it, whatever. And I still cannot find the Kaleidoscope Cardi on their website. It's got to be here further down. But this was a good stash buster, or I should say scrap buster. I do think that a lot of their patterns lend themselves well to scrap busting. And I tend to be, sorry, I'm looking down while I'm talking to you, but I really want to look for this for you. I tend to be one to definitely want to use up as much of my scraps as possible. I love most of the yarns that I've ever used, and I just hate to see it go to waste. I don't know why this is not on here. This seems weird. No, that's not it. Why is this so difficult? The Feelin' Groovy Cardi is another really cute one I've knit. The Pixelated Cardi I just recently knit. Huh. That is strange. It's similar to the daisy chain Cardi pattern, so you could do that instead. But a lot of their patterns are like bulky, scrappy, that sort of thing. So definitely check out their website. You might, you know, find something you like. But yeah, speaking of scrappy projects, enough about that. Last episode, I told myself that I wanted to, well, I told you, if you were here for it, that I wanted to knit another scrappy skirt. And I got thinking about that, and I was like, where are the others that I've knit in the past? And I kept looking and looking and looking, and I realized they were literally shoved. Somehow they had like gotten shoved further and further into a back corner of my closet. And I found them bundled up there, and I was like, oh yeah, I miss these guys. I haven't worn them at all this year. This was the first one I knit. This was leftovers from a sweater. So I really already loved the palette. That was fun. And then almost immediately I cast on a second one. And this was truly like a scrappy project. I don't know that I love this like honey yellow bit in there, but it is what it is, you know? It is what it is. This is the Simple Ass Warmer. I want to say that's what the pattern is called. And I believe that this is a free pattern on Ravelry. And I'm just checking my project page to tell you for sure. The pattern is design knit bottom up, but because I'm petite, I'm only 5'3", I knew that I probably would have to like modify the length, and so it was really important to me to knit it top down. So I just reversed the directions, which was very simple. I knit the size medium. I generally wear like a size 8 in most clothes, if that helps you. And Simple Ass Warmer, yes, by Colorway Knits, and it is a free pattern. Shockingly, there are only 30 project pages, and 2 of them are mine. So, anyway, all that to say that I love these. I do love a knit skirt. I have knit several skirts in addition to these. And where did I put the bag? Well, I showed you yarn last time. I haven't cast it on yet, so you're probably like, I don't need to see the bag. What are you talking about, Jamie? I have the yarn set aside to knit one of those, and I've had it set aside for like over a year. And the other day, I got this idea when I was podcasting that I wanted to get on with it and make this skirt. I mean, it should only take me like 10 days. And the more I've been working on other projects, which I want to share in a moment, the more I thought, yes, as soon as I finish these, I want to cast on. And then the more I work on these projects, I'm like, I just want to cast it on and have something mindless and bulky and quick. And I might just do that tonight. So, if you're looking to like scrap bust a little bit, highly recommend. So you might want to know about what I'm knitting on, and it's basically the same two projects I shared last time. A cowl design that I'm working on that is nearly done, and this is knit with my hippie lamb, which is non-superwash fingering. This is the color Beach Sand, held with my Yak Dream, which is a lace weight combination of what is it? Suri alpaca, yak, merino, and silk. I'm holding this doubled. I'm writing the pattern as I go. I kind of had it in my head, and I am now past the point where, like, you know, when you're designing, maybe you don't know. Of course, it's a process, right? You got to see what works, what doesn't work. Just because you have an idea doesn't mean it's going to actually look good in the fabric. And so for a while I was doing more ripping back than knitting, but now we are close. So this will be a kit that I'll be adding to the shop very soon, hopefully within the next 2 weeks. So stay tuned for that. And I know I didn't really show it up close yet. I don't want to, you know, like really spend too much time on it since it's not yet available. But I need a name for this pattern, and I'm struggling to think of something. If you have any ideas, let me know. So that, I should probably finish that tonight. If I finished that tonight, I could get one thing out the way, which would feel so good. And then I have continued working on my Hello Friend vest, which is a pattern by Leslie Friend, who has a really fun podcast, so go check her out on YouTube. This is my first hand-spun garment vest, and this is the yarn, and I've had to make a few modifications only because I thought my yarn was gauge and or the right thickness, I should say, you know what I mean, but it wasn't. And then I had to basically compensate by going down many needle sizes. And then I wasn't sure, like, oh, because of that, am I knitting the right size? So we've been doing lots of try-ons. I've been doing decreases on the sides. I'm still not 100% sure about the fit of this. You know, generally, I'm a really confident knitter. But this, I don't know if it's because it's hand-spun yarn or because I mean, it's got to be related to, I wasn't sure what size, and I had needle size issues to get gauge. I will get through this, I'm sure, but, oh, I'm dropping yarn, sorry. I don't, you know, some projects, I'm at the point where most projects I feel pretty confident on the outcome at the beginning. Maybe that's because I don't always pick, I do pick complicated projects, so I'm not going to say that. But this one has me, it's entirely my own fault. it's a simple pattern. It's a straightforward crew neck vest. Nothing like, there's no steeking, no cabling, no color work, no intarsia, no, craziness. This should not be this complicated. I don't know why it is. And I can't necessarily say that this yarn, which is some of my earliest hand spun, feels that great. I don't know why. If you're a spinner, can you tell me what it is about this? It's only a 2-ply. I don't know. Maybe it's the fiber. Now that I'm talking this through with you. The fiber is a mystery. The gray in the marl is yak. I know that much. But the multicolor situation, I don't know. I bought this at Rhinebeck a few years ago. I don't think the fiber was even labeled, which tells me I didn't know what I didn't know at the time. I was like a very newbie spinner. So it is what it is. Anyway, once I get those done and that skirt that I mentioned, I really want to knit some gorgeous mitts out of a special new yarn that I'm planning to add to the shop. And let me look up what it's called because I can't remember. Pro tip, get an iPad dedicated to your knitting. I keep this with my knitting. I can access my Ravelry. I can blow up the charts. This is like a total game changer. Mitts. I want to narrow down my queue to accessories, hands, all hands. We'll do all hands. Oh, where is it? Oh my god, I don't even see the pattern. Oh wait. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna insert a photo. This is called Morgondimma by Rania Hacaletto. This is a free pattern on Ravelry. So I figured I could knit the pattern out of this gorgeous yarn that I plan on bringing to the shop shortly. This is 100% baby llama. I'll let you get another look at that. It's fingering weight, and I'm going to see how it works up. So that is a sample that I intend on working on. On the horizon. I just sent out a few projects to sample knitters so that I could have some new samples in the shop for my upcoming fiber festivals. I just got to the point where I was like, I can't knit everything myself. And a bunch of people have kindly offered, several times to help out. And of course, I, show my appreciation. But that will be fun to have some new fun samples, so stay tuned for that. Okay, I don't know that I ever talked about this, but several years ago, I knit this cardigan, which at the time was undyed. And I can't remember the name of the pattern. I'll put it on the screen here. I thought I wanted an ivory cardigan. And it steeped. I think this was my first steep project. It went well. It fits. It's great. It's classic and all that. But I didn't like the ivory against my pale complexion. And I don't know. I was in a mood because generally I do like wearing ivory. So I dyed it, and then I didn't like the color that it turned out. And then I overdyed it, and then I overdyed it again. And now it's kind of this like black brown. And I'm happy with it, but the dyeing process, which requires heat, kind of messed up these beautiful buttons. These are like mother of pearl ish. Oh, I know what they are. They're coconut shell. That's what it is. Maybe with mother of pearl now that I look at it. Anyway, I felt like the buttons kind of got beat up in the dyeing process. And I just felt like they needed thicker buttons. The buttons are so thin, I felt like they kind of slide out the buttonhole too easily. So the other day, I went to my local fabric shop, Haberman's. If you're in the Metro Detroit area, they used to be in downtown Royal Oak, and now they're in downtown Clawson, which is super close to me. And the lovely people there helped me pick out some new buttons. So let me get the button band here so you can see. Old button. Don't mind the dog hair. This has kind of been sitting on the couch for a few days. New button. I don't think that this button, let me get closer. It's still, you know, kind of like blingy-ish, but it's a little more subtle. Why can I not see this to my satisfaction? I'm telling you, it looks better in person. Wow. So, if you've been watching, you know the last few episodes I've been complaining about the light, and I just realized I had the window blinds down. But I did get some new lights. And I will say I'm mostly happier with the lighting in here. So, problems are solvable. So, all this to say, I'm going to sew on some new buttons. So maybe I can get that done tonight too. I think tonight needs to be a productive, crafty night. Yes. What else do I have for you? I have been spinning. Last episode, I told you guys that I wanted to make Sunday dedicated for spinning, and this past Sunday, I finally did. It was like I said it. If I say it, I gotta do it. And this is the fiber that I'm spinning. There was 1.5 pounds of this to begin with. And I have spun 3 bobbins, which I don't know how much this weighs. This is probably half of what I had. I did buy like an intended sweater quantity. We shall see how that goes. This is Jacob Corriedale that I bought last summer or the summer before. It doesn't matter. At the Michigan Fiber Festival. And this is so nice to spin. It's so easy. And it feels so good. Oh, this is gonna be so nice. So, yeah. I'm glad I've decided that by making Sunday spin day, that I'm carving out time to dedicate to that. Speaking of spinning, I am getting ready for all my fiber festivals that are on the nearish horizon, which in a couple weeks I'll be in Indiana, east of Muncie, outside, well, not outside, it's in Portland, Indiana. I feel like I have a hair like right here. It's so weird. So I've spent a lot of time over the last few weeks dyeing yarn and getting things ready and just generally preparing. And part of that was dyeing a whole bunch of fiber. And I thought I'd share this with you today. This is going in the shop probably next week. This is the Dan Campbell colorway that I dyed on sock yarn last month for Detroit Lions fans. And I love how this turned out, especially this side. How fun is that? That should be the thumbnail. Anyway, so I couldn't resist. I know football is over, but Detroit Lions fans are fans year round. And just because you buy something not in football season doesn't mean you won't spin it next football season. So then, when I was about to dye this colorway, along with a bunch of others, I decided that Dan Campbell should be on mohair. So I dyed up a bunch of this. People have been asking for this colorway, and I thought, let's dye it up on some mohair for fun. Yes, I will be dyeing it up on other colorways in the future, in the very near future, but this is to start, and I'm very happy with how this turned out. So Dan Campbell is back in the house at M1. What else? What else? Oh, I've been rambling for almost 30 minutes and I still haven't told you about the summer knitting patterns that I'm considering and that maybe you should too. While I'm looking this up, I wanted to share with you something that I've been watching, or that I did watch. I finished it the other day, that is like really good Netflix and knitting, and I actually think it's on Hulu. It's a documentary about a serial killer. I think it's called Fox Hollow Farm something, but it's about this guy. I won't give too much away. It's like a 4-episode documentary about this guy in Indiana, not far from where I'm going in a few weeks, who in the 80s and 90s was killing gay men. He was married with kids and lived this like double life, and he would throw the bodies in the woods by his house, and they're still finding bones. Sounds creepy as hell, and it is, but it was really engaging to knit on, so take that for what it's worth. Anyway, so I wanted to share that with you because I like sharing all my favorite things, and right now that is something I sickly enjoy. I don't know, I didn't enjoy it, I just found it interesting, I should say. Anyway, so let's dive into our spring knitting inspiration. Let me start with something that has been in my queue and the yarn has been ready for ages. I say that and now I'm like, where is the yarn? Doesn't matter. The point is the Stonecrop Cardi by Andrea Mowry. Stonecrop Cardi has been on my queue for ages, and it'll probably take me ages to knit because it has a bunch of texture and color work like baubles and things, but I want this object. So maybe if I cast it on soonish, I might not have it for the spring, but I will definitely have it for the fall, which would be a win. So, you know, I feel like a fingering sport weight pattern is very transitional, which is so important in the spring. So that is my number one thing, is like, I want a lightweight cardigan. I don't think I have a lightweight cardigan that I have knit. They're all like worsted or heavier, which is strange. Anyway, a true spring summer pattern that I really want to knit is the Foxberry Tee by Sari Nordlund. This has been in my queue for a good minute. She released this pattern about 3 years ago. I think it is the perfect mix of lace, like really subtle lace, cables, baubles. It's super cute. It's just a tee. I think this would be great. It is knit with DK weight yarn. So it would go fairly fast. I have never knit a Sari Nordlund pattern before, so I have heard great things. I think she's super talented, and I would love to give her patterns a try. So, that might just have to be knit. Let's see, that's DK weight. I'm thinking. So this yarn in these two crates and these two crates is my new merino cotton yarn called Sheep in a Tank, which is the fingering, and Sheep in a Tea, which is the DK. And because it's that 50-50 blend of merino and organic cotton, I was thinking that this would be great for a spring summer knit. And this is basically the color that she knit her sample in for this tee, and I'm thinking that that would be really fun. Or actually, I really like this blue. So now I'm thinking this yarn, which I recently added to the shop, is what got me thinking about spring summer patterns, because I like knitting ahead of the season. So like right now, start spring. In like July, August, start a fall sweater. You get the idea. So, yeah, I think that that would be super cute. Now let me pull up the next pattern that I wanted to talk about. This is the, where is it? Twist Loop Top by Other Loops. She has basically this motif in a sweater, in like a pull or slip over vest, and then this tank top. And I think that this tank top is super cute. It's knit with fingering weight yarn. And I feel like this would be a good layering piece. I love how she has it styled under a button down. I think that's really fun. I would knit this in my new non-superwash yarn because of the cables. Well, it's not a lot of cables. I don't know. We'll see. Nonetheless, I want this object. I think it is super cute. So, yeah, I think that you could even wear it as a vest. Or, you know, by itself or layered. You have options. So, the next one that I want to knit is the Slanty Stripes by Emily Curtis. This has been in my queue for a minute, and I thought that this would be a fun scrap buster. You know, she's incorporating 1, 2, 3, like 4, 5 contrast colors. Is that right? Yeah, 5 contrast colors and 1 main color. And I just think that this is super cute. I do love a V-neck. It is knit in fingering weight yarn. And it just seems like really fun. And I think that that's what's most appealing about that. Surprisingly, there's only 58 project pages for this pattern, and it's been out a few years. So, maybe we can collectively, maybe we need like a summer tea knit along. Okay, the last one that I want to mention, and I really want this object, is the Emery vest. There's also a pullover version by Joji Locatelli. This features all over cables that I think are gorgeous, and I want to knit this in my non-superwash yarn because I think it would make those cables really plump and juicy. And I love the colors, both like the natural ecru and this, like in the pullover she uses like a honey, almost like a I know I have this yarn sitting around here somewhere, like this color. Yeah. Anyway, I really want this. I think that this is like the thing that I want the most out of the 5 I just mentioned. I want it all. So tell me what you think I should knit next out of those 5. That's it. This is tough. I might really need some input. Tell me what you want to knit out of those 5. So yeah, I hope that that provides a little bit of inspiration for your spring and summer knitting. And I think with that, that's about it that I've got for you today. Until next time, I hope your knitting is bringing you lots of joy. And in the meantime, stretch your hands, stretch your fingers, roll your shoulders, take breaks, drink your water. Got my water here. And I'll see you next time. Bye.